Hello everyone, Chaos here, and welcome to another old school RuneScape video. In the previous one, we went over all the bosses you can do from easy to difficult in order to improve your PvM abilities as you learn their mechanics. And today, we will go over 25 monsters you can camp for money regardless of the state of your account. We will cover a few moneymakers with combat from low level all the way up to end game monsters. If you guys find this video helpful, we upload weekly videos and stream every single day on this channel. So if you like what you see, a subscription would be really appreciated. And don't forget to join the Discord to be notified when I go live and to interact with me and our amazing community. Before we start, I quickly have to go over a few disclaimers so we can all be on the same page. Number one, these are just a few good monsters you can camp for money, but obviously not all of the options available. Number two, I don't have any other accounts, so I tested all of these methods with my maxed main, meaning that if you are lower level, you may get less kills per hour. I used a lower level gear and weapons, so that may potentially balance things out. And finally, for number 3, we will not be taking supplies into account, and I will show you raw money made after 1 hour for every monster. You will be able to see information like requirements, intensity, GP per hour, and notable drops for all of these monsters. Also, not a disclaimer, but I will cover each monster relatively quickly as we have a lot to go over. With this information out of the way, let's begin. Starting off with the low-level moneymakers, you can kill Spidines in the basement of the Tower of Life. You will need raw sardines and red spider eggs in order to combine them and get noted red spider eggs you can then sell on the Grand Exchange or make even more Spidines for more profit. As you see on screen, profit per hour is not ideal, but if you're low level and the dirt poor, this easy quest can lend you some starting GP. Related to spiders, our next method can be found in the Forthos dungeon in the Great Corrend. All you need are a few prayer potions and get to kill the temple spiders in the multi-combat area. They may seem powerful with a lot of HP for low levels, but as long as you have 43 prayer, you can camp them with the protect from melee for a few nice drops. The Forthos dungeon has an alright monster to camp as well, being the undead druids. As long as you range them and protect from magic, they won't be able to touch you as you collect their loot. They have slightly more HP than the temple spiders, but with range you will do slightly more damage and you will be able to get more cash per hour despite not killing as many of them. Up next we have a method that involves both skilling and combat. You may go to the woodcutting guild or even the wilderness to kill ents. After you beat them, a log will drop on the ground which you can then woodcut for a random assortment of logs. What you see on screen is what I got, but remember I have 99 woodcutting, but regardless, a super chill method to do if you want to do a combination method. For the final low-level moneymaker, we have Chaos Druids. Surprisingly enough, despite these being weaker than all of the previous monsters, I got more money out of them because of how quickly they die. If you get lucky with a few high-level herbs, you will be able to make more money, so this is perfect for people who are just getting into Member World. We start the mid-level moneymaker with Dust Devils. At a nifty level 65 Slayer requirement, these are fairly chill to camp, especially if you go to the Catacombs of Corrend. Tag all of them and then let your character fight back with auto-retaliate. You can keep all of the drops or alch them, and even bring an herb sack to extend your trips. Just keep in mind that people love bursting them, so you may have to hop worlds for a little bit. Up next we have Urium Shades. Now, you may be wondering, why put this in the mid-level tier if you need 95 fire making to do this? Well, honestly 99 fire making is pretty common nowadays, even for low levels, and again, even as a low level, if you protect from melee, they can't do anything to you. If you don't have level 95 fire making for that golden key, however, you can get lower level keys for lower level remains, which will still make you decent profit. Up next we have Blue Dragons. I tested these at the Taverley dungeon and I highly suggest having 70 agility for the shortcut, or even 65 and eat a summer pipe before going inside the pipe. Teleport to Falador with a full inventory and then repeat this process. A good idea would be to pick up blue dragon scales around the cave as you are finishing off your target, to fill up your inventory faster and make more money per trip. Now we jump to ice trolls found north of Jatizo. For this one, I set up a cannon because cannonballs are not super expensive, and this is a pretty decent method because of the Fremennik NPCs will help you out by attacking them too. And with this, you're not really gonna need to do that much. Pray from ranged, finish off the weak ones, and whenever you need, go bank in the town to restock. You can skip on the cannon, but that will be less GP per hour. Finally in this tier, we have Green Dragons. I tested this at the Wilderness without a cannon, and this was way more money per hour, basically because you are at risk at getting shafted by PKers at any moment. This is below level 20 Wilderness though, so a one-click teleport will get you out of there quickly. With a cannon, you will be able to make more money per hour, but cannonballs will cost you a little bit more. With 72 Slayer, you will be able to kill skeletal wyverns, and I tested this with ranged. Not a ton of kills per hour, but the bones and the random assortment of drops will make your money back in supplies and walk away with a lot of profit. I wasn't too lucky with the drops, but these can drop dragon plate legs and dragon plate skirts to boost your GP. And if you are extremely lucky, you can also see a draconic visage on the ground. And in my opinion, these are a little bit too annoying, but if you AFK them and basically safe spot them, they're not really gonna be too bad, and you're gonna make a ton of money. Also related to Slayer, we have worms. I tested this with melee and used a few supplies, but if you range them and pray for magic, you're not gonna need food whatsoever. Their bones are surprisingly good money for the amount of effort needed to kill them, and it's not that bad for a Slayer task. Again, if you're lucky, you can get either a Dragon Sword or Dragon Harpoon, which are not super expensive but a decent boost to your GP. Next we have Gargoyles, and if you don't want to waste prayer points to avoid 100% of the damage, these don't really hit that high. They drop a ton of noted resources, as well as rune and adamant items you can alch to extend your trips. And if you bring Gothans to heal, you can pretty much stay here indefinitely or until your Gothans breaks. Just don't forget your Rock Hammer to finish them off. We return to the wilderness for the next one, and we are heading to Lava Dragon Isle. If you're like me and you don't want to risk a lot, you can come here with Salad Robes and the mid-level fire spells. And with a pretty low tier setup, I was able to get a decent amount of cash despite not being able to kill that many of them per hour. With higher tier armor and weapons, you can kill even more, but this will be a risk versus reward situation, so be careful for those PKers as you're making a ton of money. Last in this tier, we have Kurasks. These have a lower level Slayer requirement than Skeletal Wyverns and Gargoyles, but will net you a lot more GP per hour because their drops are overall better. They don't have any special items to look forward to other than the occasional coconuts or 10,000 GP, which will be great, and if you pray against the melee with them, you will be protected 100% of the time. We will start the next tier with a monster that's not as popular, but will still give you some decent GP per hour. You can find drakes in the upstairs area of Mount Karum. They don't damage you for much, especially if you're paying attention, and the cannon will be very useful here if you position the drakes correctly. They also have a few special drops, but the raw GP output will be enough for a nice GP boost. One of my favorite mobs are Necreals. If you have them on a Slayer task, you can get massive experience per hour by bursting them in the Catacombs of Karenz, and also get decent drops. But if you camp them in the Slayer tower, you will make a ton of money in alchables and runes. They also drop seeds, and if you're lucky, you can get Snapdragon seeds, which go for a lot of money right now. You can stay here for a long time as well, either by praying or by bringing a lot of food or even your Gothans. If you dump your bank for a Twisted Bow or even a cheeky Dragon Hunter crossbow, camping Brutal Black Dragons is an amazing way to rebuild the bank. As long as you attack from a distance and drink an anti-fire potion, just pray Mage and you will take 0 damage. They drop 2 black dragon hides per kill, as well as those nice dragon bones, and they also drop a ton of really good drops in general. And again, since they are dragons, you could also see that nice draconic visage on the ground. An extremely popular AFK money-making method, especially for alt accounts, is camping rune dragons. I did this with Bandos, meaning I took more damage, so if you take just this year, you may be able to stay here for longer, and their guaranteed drops are pretty decent, but we are after all of those expensive rune drops like plate bodies and plate legs. They also drop crossbow limbs and metal lumps, so if you're lucky, you can get even more GP with these special drops. Last on this category, we have probably the riskiest moneymaker, but also the best one overall for this video, and I am talking about the Revenant Caves. I camped orcs and went to Scold for that extra chance at a nice weapon, but doing this requires 100% focus since you have to leave as soon as you see someone walk around. I was interrupted quite a few times, but still walked away with a ton of money by killing lower tier Revenants. Luckily, I didn't die at all during the test, but I had a few close calls, and these could cost you a lot of money, so always be careful for those PKers with your player indicator enabled on Runelight. For the following category, we have monsters that are decent profit, but most of their GP per hour relies on their special drops. First off, we have Abyssal Demons because their normal loot is absolute garbage, but the chances at a juicy Abyssal Whip are enough to make anyone want to camp them for a bit, either on or off task. And who knows, you could even see an Abyssal Demon head, which is pretty much the only one I'm missing for all of these Slayer helmet recolors. A little bit salty for this one, but maybe I'll see it one day. Up next we have Firewatch Sentinels. This is a great monster to camp for 2 reasons. Number 1, obviously we are here for money, so that almost a 10 million GP blood shard is absolutely worth it. And 2, you can stay here indefinitely because there's an altar right south of the main area. So you will have virtually unlimited prayer, and you will only need to bring super combat potions if camping them for a long time. The Basilisk Knights might take a little longer to kill, but their special drop, which is the Basilisk Jaw, is more than enough motivation for you to unlock them as a Slayer task and come here to try your hand at this amazing item. Even without the jaw, their drops are not that bad and will be more than enough to cover your supplies and make a little bit of cash as you hunt for that big ticket item. We cannot make a combat money making video without mentioning Lizardman Shamans. I haven't camped these for long because, well, I don't need to, but if you get them as a Slayer task, that Dragon Warhammer is a perfect push you need in order to go camp them for a little bit. You can kill them with minimal damage dealt to you, and in my experience, trips can last for slightly longer as you're looking for that juicy 1 in 5,000 Dragon Warhammer. Last but not least, we have the Demonic Gorillas. Now, Zenyte shards are not as expensive as the Basilisk Jaw or the Dragon Warhammer, but this goes here because the drop rate of those shards are way higher and you can kill them relatively quickly. And also because their normal drops are amazing in comparison. Not only will you be making tons of money, but this monster will keep you on your toes as you need to switch gear and prayers incredibly often and will make you better at those activities. Ladies and gentlemen, that's pretty much it for this video. I really hope you enjoyed and that you learned at least one new thing about how to make money in our favorite point-and-click medieval fantasy browser game for children from 2007. I want to give a massive thank you to all my channel members. You boys and girls are absolute legends, and I love seeing all of your emotes on my streams. Your support is honestly overwhelming. If you enjoy the content enough, you can click the join button below and see all of the cool perks and rewards you can get out of your monetary pledge in the videos, in the live streams, and also in the Discord. I will see you guys in the next one, where instead of monsters, we will go over boss kills and see how much money you can make from them. Thank you guys very much for watching, and I will see you then. Peace.